Today at the New York Auto Show, Hyundai showed off their smallest crossover for America. This is the all-new 2020 Hyundai Venue, and you should expect to see this on dealer lots before the end of the year. This is significantly shorter than the Hyundai Kona, so if you're looking for something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to park, but still a crossover, then this is definitely going to be an option you should look at. This is right around the same overall size as the Ford EcoSport, but this is considerably newer. On the front end, we get this very distinctive Hyundai grille. You can see this overall shape is basically the same as we also see in the 2020 Sonata, but the headlamp treatment is quite different. This is more in keeping with their crossover lineup, a little bit more similar to what we see in the Santa Fe. The headlamps are down here with the daytime running lamp circling them, and then we have the turn signals up top. Let me know what you think about this overall look down there in the comment section below. Personally, I wish that the headlamp was all one module and was right up here where the turn signal is. I think that would have made it look just a little bit cleaner. The big thing you'll notice from the side is that this is a significant 5 inches shorter than the Kona. The Kona is also available as an all-wheel drive vehicle, and the Venue will be front-wheel drive only. The boxy proportions actually help improve the overall practicality on the inside, however, even though this is a little bit shorter than the average in the subcompact segment. Definitely an awful lot more interior room and an awful lot more cargo room practicality than we find in something like the Mazda CX-3. To add a little touch of style, and very similar to what we see in the Mini product line, you can also get a different colored roof on your Venue if you're interested. Out back, the Venue receives its own unique style. We have these tail lamps that actually kind of a Z pattern in them. I really think those are interesting. And the upper and lower portions of these tail lamp modules look sort of like they have glitter in them, very much like we see in some Mercedes models out there. The Venue has a pretty vertical hatch, just as you'd expect to find in a very small crossover. Again, that helps improve the overall practicality. And we find a very similar amount of room back here to what we see in the Kia Soul. Nice flat load floor right there. It opens up to reveal a very deep storage well. You can see it actually goes way down there. And then we actually have a spare tire in there as well. The reason we have that 2-stage load floor is that so the cargo area is flat. If we fold these rear seats down, you could just put cargo right from in there, right there to on top of the seats. There's just one engine option under this hood. It's a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine, produces 121 horsepower. It's mated to your choice of a manual transmission or continuously variable transmission, but all-wheel drive is not an option. This is front-wheel drive only. If you want to get all-wheel drive, you will have to step up into the Kona, which is a little bit larger than this, likely a little bit more expensive as well. Small crossovers are not just about practicality, they're also about style, and we definitely find a high-style interior as well. I really love Hyundai's latest color choices. We see that in the Nexo, the Palisade, and now this tiny Venue as well. This is actually not a black steering wheel or a black dashboard. These are actually navy-colored components, and that continues on to the piping and the seats, etc. We have some contrasting piping, ivory and navy over there. The upper sections of the dashboard are navy, the lower sections are that sort of off-ivory color, and we have a standard 8-inch color touchscreen infotainment system that features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This model has the optional single-zone automatic climate control, shifters right down there, and then a drive and traction button. It is important to remember again that there is no all-wheel drive in this vehicle. Hopping into the back seats, we find a reasonable amount of room back here. This is one of the big reasons that you'd want to look at something like this vehicle over a Kia Rio or a Nissan Versa or a subcompact sedan or the average subcompact hatchback, because they may not have the same kind of headroom that we find here. This actually reminds me a lot of the Kia Soul in a way. Even if I were to put my head all the way back on the headrest, you'll notice that I still have about an inch of headroom left. Definitely more headroom than we find in the average subcompact sedan or subcompact hatchback, or some of the other small crossovers you could compare this with. Like a Mazda CX-3, it has significantly less room. Now, of course, legroom is definitely going to be more limited. This seat is not all the way back in its tracks. If it were, it would definitely be close to my legs. As usual, we don't know how much the Venue will cost or exactly when it's going to be on dealer lots, but do expect to see this sometime later in the calendar year 2019. One thing's for sure, however, if you're looking for something that has a little bit more style than an EcoSport and definitely a more premium interior, put the Venue on your shopping list. And if you've always wanted something that's a little bit smaller than an HR-V or a CHR or Hyundai's own Kona, this is going to be one of the best options available outside of spending the extra that you'd see in something like a Mini Countryman. And I have to say that the Mini comparison keeps occurring to me whenever I look at this vehicle, because the interior and the exterior definitely has a more premium vibe than we find in most of the other alternatives that are about this same size in America. Until we can get our hands on one for a complete review, be sure and hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom of your screen. Check us out over at facebook.com, and I'll see you next week.